YouTubers. Wanted to just say a massive thank you to everyone for the likes and the wonderful comments regarding my first video. I didn't really think that anyone would really be interested in what I had to say because I'm a newbie stitcher and I don't really know anything. So there wasn't really anything that anyone would want to watch it for. But the support is immense out there, so I would just like to say I'm really appreciative of the fact that you're all there to help and very supportive and wonderful people. On that basis, there's a reason for the second video. There's not really much update on WIPs or anything like that, but I do have a very small haul that I'd like to show you, as well as I have something I'd like to share with you. Obviously, watching all the YouTube videos, I've been taking snippets and pieces from everybody's different videos and trial and error to see what works for me and what doesn't. One of the things on one of the videos that I've actually seen is the needle organizer, which when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that looks quite interesting. I was like, maybe I should get one of those. And then when I thought about it, I was thinking, well, it's not really going to help me very much. So basically, with the fact that obviously I've only really been doing the bigger projects, so the heaven and earth design type things, you have to have loads and loads of floss. I mean, all of the projects that I've actually downloaded and the ones that I'm working on now are all sort of anywhere between 80 and 100 different colours that you're working with. So when I was doing it, I did actually wonder how everyone sort of actually dealt with the number of threads and flosses that you was using. So obviously I've got my little box along with the same as the rest of you. If I get my books. So I've got my little floss box, which has got all my flosses in for my Heaven and Earth Designs project. And obviously I know that you unthread it and you get it to a certain length and then you cut the thread. And then you just take your one little thread off of the bundle of little threads. And I always wondered what it was that you did with the bit that you'd cut. Because once you've cut it, I was thinking, well, I want to use that bit of thread, but what do I do with the bit that I've cut? So I kept sort of wrapping it back up onto the thing and putting it back in the box, which was fine, and I'm sure that works for a lot of people. But I thought to myself, I'm spending a lot of time winding, unwinding, then rewinding, and then the box would be sort of have loads of fluff and stuff all sort of coming out of it. And I was thinking, well, there must be an easier way. And after seeing the needle organizer, wasn't too sure whether that would work for me. So I thought about it and I was like, well, that won't work for me because I don't do, I'm not changing my needles up, and because I do the parking method, I've already got my flosses there, and obviously I just take my needle off and put it onto another one. So anyway, I was on the So-and-So website because I was shopping, because I like to shop for little stuff now. Whilst I was looking, I noticed that they had the Paco needle organizer. So obviously I just clicked on it to have a look. And lo and behold, right next to that was a thread organizer. I was like, that might be interesting. So after having a little look at it online, I decided that I'd order one and see what it was like. So it's turned up. And I've got to be completely honest with you, it is an amazing little gadget. It is probably one of the best purchases that I've made, other than my Manelium set that my husband was nice enough to buy me. It is a very good little gadget. Probably not so good for people that are dealing with smaller projects where you've sort of got, I don't know, under 10 different colours to work with. But when you're working on something that's got lots and lots of threads and lots of different colours, and you're changing colours, and this is fabulous. Because if I explain how it works, if I give you a close-up. So the way this little thing works is you've got you've got the actual thing itself, and then with it you get a load of these cards, which are all empty blanks, double-sided, that you can, and I wasn't too sure, do I put the DMC floss number on there, or do I put the chart number on there, or the chart symbol? And I was thinking to myself, well, the whole saga of dealing with it straight out of your bobbin box is, you have to look at your chart, find your symbol, then revert back to the contents page to find out what symbol, what colour is that, then go to your bobbin box, find the colour in your DMC colour, and then pick your thread. So I was thinking, well, I'm not quite sure how this would work. So at first I thought, well, you must sort of have to, put your symbols on here. So only problem with that is I don't know what your drawing's like, but mine's not very good at all. So I spent ages trying to replicate the symbols that were on my chart directly onto this, and drew them on. Put it into the little gadget and put some flosses on. Started working with it until sort of a day or so later, and I looked at the chart, found a symbol that I was looking for, looked on my little gadget that I'd put in there, and noticed that none of the symbols that I'd drawn actually replicated or even looked remotely like the symbols on the chart. But that will be due to my drawing skills, because my drawing skills are terrible. So I was thinking, well, there has to be another way that I can do this. So I came up with an alternative. So basically, because my drawing is so bad, and obviously I need with so many different types of symbols, and some of them are actually really quite close, they're similar to each other, I decided that the only way to actually get the correct pictures of the symbols was to use the contents page that has the symbols on within my chart. So I printed a copy of that and then chopped them all down individually, and used a prick stick. So I prick sticked and then stuck them onto the card itself. So if I do that so that you can see. Now, all you have to do is prick stick it on, make sure that there's no bits that are sticking up, and then leave it to dry. And then once it's dry, you just put it into your little thread organiser, slide it in, and then load up your threads, like so. And the beauty of this is one of these holds 50 threads, or 50 different colours of threads. Obviously, because I'm doing Heaven and Earth designs, I couldn't help myself, and I bought 2. So I've now got 2 of these, and my husband loves him. He's sort of, I'd say the only downside to one of these is the fact that every now and then you have to, because of sort of how it sits, if you've not got it so that it's sort of standing on something, all your flosses sort of get squished up like that. So every now and then I sort of go through and I just stroke my flosses, which I actually quite like stroking my flosses. I find that as therapeutic as well. So I give them a little stroke to just make sure that they're not getting too ratty, or too clogged up together. But my husband is going to make me a special little stand. So he's going to make a stand so that it sits at a slight angle so that I can see all of my symbols, and I can just get to my threads, which I thought was a great idea, because then all the threads will be hanging. The beauty of working with this is once you've cut that thread, there's none of that winding it back onto the bobbin to then unwind it again. So once I've cut the length that I want, I'll take the one strand, I'll put the remainder into my little gadget here, my Paco threads organiser, and then that way I've still got 5 more threads on there until it runs out. Once I start to run out, then I'll just go through and load the whole thing back up again so that I've got like a full set hanging from it. But I have to say, if when you look at sort of some of the tools and the things that you use to sort of make your life a little easier, this has got to be like a top 10 for me. I mean, the Manelium stand is a massive like 20 out of 10. I mean, that's just awesome. The tension is amazing. The way it's built, it's handled, you can do almost anything with it. And you do. It stretches everything out so that you don't have to worry about retightening or your tension. But this little gadget, I would say I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10, because when you're working with lots of different colours and lots of different flosses, this is just a godsend. it makes it so much easier. There's none of this messing around with the box. I mean, to be honest, I barely go into this box. I go into this box to load that, and that is it. And the rest of the time, I just work from these. But I wanted to share that with you. So, I mean, you probably already know it, and you probably have already seen one of these. But I find this immense. I think it's a really immense, useful, helpful gadget to have to assist with your stitching. So I wanted to share that with you. So that's my one thing to share. So I can't really share much else. I can't share experience or professional stitching, but I can share the little gadgets that I'm working with. So that's my little share. There's not really much to update you on. I've got one small new start. My sister is retaking her vows at the end of March. And she lives quite a way away from me, so she doesn't even know that I've started cross-stitching. So I thought it would be a good idea to stitch her something as like a little present for her and her husband. I found a design that I quite liked on Pinterest, but the only problem is that it didn't really tell me where to go, so it took a little while to find it, and it worked out that it was in a Cross Stitch Gold magazine, issue 29, and I'm thinking, well, how the hell am I going to get one of those? I mean, I went onto my my newsstand on my iPad to see whether I could find a copy of it, but I think it must have been quite an old one. So I was like, oh, well, I can't find it. So I did the obvious thing and went onto eBay, and guess what? I got a copy. Now, when I bought this copy, I was a bit suspicious at first, because I was thinking, oh, I hope it doesn't turn up and it's sort of some flea-bitten, you know, second-hand cross-stitch book that's sort of, you know, got dog ears and maybe the page that I'm looking for missing. But I'll be completely honest with you, this turned up absolutely immaculate. It looked like it had never even been read, if I'm honest. So yeah, so I purchased this book on eBay, and if I show you what it is that I'm stitching, obviously I picked something that was a little simpler than say most of you would have picked, or what I thought was simpler. So this is the design. Can you see that? And it's got a really, really clear pattern to work from on the pages. So if I show you where I've got to, here it is. It's on my small manilium frame, because I've got a few. I've got a large one, a medium one, and a small one, so that I can use it for everything. So this is where I'm at. Now, when I first started doing this, I thought it didn't look too complicated, it looked fine. I've checked and rechecked and double checked all of this stitching. But for some bizarre reason, and I don't know why, there's 2 spaces on the fabric there, and then the heart, and then there's 2 spaces there with those initials, but then there's this massive great gap, and I don't know why. So I've checked against the pattern, or the design, and checked my counting, because obviously there's always that possibility that I messed it up, and it's not me. But I don't know whether it looks odd, whether it's me thinking it looks odd, but when I'm looking at it, I can see there's a massive, that looks a bigger space there than that's got there. But then I'm thinking, well, my sister's not really going to see that, is she? What do you think? Do you think I should do something? I mean, I wouldn't even know how to fix that. If I follow the pattern to the letter and it's right, and it looks like that, I'm really not sure what I'm supposed to do. So I might just carry on doing it and see what it looks like. I mean, maybe when you hold it further away, you won't notice it, but everything else looked pretty centered. So I don't really know. I'm not quite sure what to make of that, or whether I should just stop and start again. But even if I start again, because I'm following the pattern, if I try and adjust it myself, I know I'm just going to make matters worse, and it'll look a lot worse. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I should redo it, leave it, or just carry on and no one's going to notice it other than me? I mean, you guys will know. And a cross stitcher probably, when she looks, it'll go, oh, that's offline. But would my sister know? I don't think so. I don't know. Let me know, comment, let me know whether you think I should do something or not, or leave it and just carry on. But anyway, so I have an additional WIP. I haven't got long to do it, if I'm honest. I'm going on holiday in 2 weeks, for a week, and then when I get back, it's literally within 2 days of me getting back, we're going to the re-wedding. So I need to get it done really in this 2 weeks. So yeah, I think I need to pull my socks up and get on with it. So anyway, one more WIP to add to my very few. I have done some more work on my faces. Face of Fury. Here she is again. So this is where we're at. And when people were talking on YouTube with regards to sort of the different counts, so whether you do it on an 18 count or a 25 count, and I think, I can't remember who it was, but there was someone that was saying they preferred to do it on a 25 count because they felt that the lower the count got, the less detail you could see. I sort of get it now. And the reason I say that is, whilst I was stitching, I was getting further and further down, and I was thinking, she looks a bit noseless. She doesn't actually look like she's got a nose. I got up, walked away from it and went and got a cup of coffee, and as I was walking back to it, all of a sudden I could see the nose. But when you're closer to it, you do tend to lose some of the elements of detail that you can see when you're further away from it. So, not that I'm upset about that, I still think she looks lovely. But I do think that the next one that I do, I'm definitely going to try the 25 count. To see if that makes a difference on the detail, like a bit closer up. So with this, once it's framed and it's up on the wall, I think I'm going to sort of have to really stand back from it to sort of appreciate it at its fullest. But no, I mean, I'm still more than happy with her. I think she still looks fabulous. But now I sort of see the point when people were saying about sort of sometimes on these bigger projects when there's so much going on, that if the count is too small, that you do lose an element of the intricate detail. But no, so she's coming along. I must admit, I've been doing quite a lot of stitching on her, but it doesn't really look like I've done anything. So I think I've hit one of those areas where, you know, sometimes when you be stitching and you feel like you've done hours and hours of stitching, but you don't really show any serious progress. And then there's other parts of it where you'll sort of be stitching for an hour and all of a sudden there's a whole nother part. So I just think I'm on a bit of a go slow section where it's sort of, although I'm doing a lot of stitching on it, it just doesn't look like I've really done much, but I can assure you I have. I've been very busy. So that's the WIPs. So no real change there. Whilst I was on YouTube, and I was, you know, stitching along and listening to what people were saying, I revisited some of the older YouTube videos, one of which was Miss Milky Bar Kids' silks discussion, where she gave us an overview of all the different silks and her favourite silks. And while she was talking about the Twisted Band sampler and the Twisted Rainbow sampler, which I know that there's others that have been doing them and they've actually showed their work in progress. And every time I've looked at it, I'm like, wow, wow. And they were, wow. And I was thinking, well, you know, Teresa, there's no point in you looking at it because that's far too advanced. Far too advanced for you to look. I happened to just click on one of the links that was in the bottom and found a website called Northern Expressions. It's an Etsy page. And when I've looked at, lo and behold, the Twisted Band sampler and the Twisted Rainbow sampler both came up. But I then noticed that there was a cheaper version. So I was like, wow, what's that one? Is that like half of the original? And when I've actually looked, it's the cross-stitch version. So in other words, it's for people like me who either aren't as experienced or a bit too frightened to take on some of those specialised stitches. And I was just like, oh, really? Really? I have to have those. They are so beautiful. The way the colours merge and the way it goes diagonal. I quite like the whole sort of the angling of it. And to be honest, although it is slightly different because it is all just cross stitch, there's none of the specialised stitches, each of the bands still look really, really beautiful. And I was thinking, do you know, I really want to do those. And the fact that they're just crosses, I was like, well, I'm in cross heaven. So I couldn't help myself. So I ordered them and they come as a download. So because once I got them downloaded, inevitably, you have to go with the recommendations. So the recommendations are for silk threads. So I really had to have some silk threads because I had to follow what it said to the letter. So the two are slightly different. So one calls for dinky dye threads, which are currently on order from so-and-so. So I'm waiting for a lovely little package to turn up. And then you've got the Avera Schwa silks, Dalj silks. I got a package delivered today. Oh, so exciting. So here's all my lovely, lovely silks. Look. Oh, I dropped one. They're beautiful, aren't they? Lovely, lovely silks. I mean, obviously I've not actually stitched with any silks, so this is going to be very interesting to give these a go. They do feel very, very soft though. They are super soft. It's like having one of those like comfort blankets, but sort of in my hands. And the colours are really, really lovely colours. I mean, I know I'm going to have an absolute blast stitching this up. Providing it all doesn't go wrong, of course. So yes, so I have my silk threads, or one set. So I think this one is, so these colours are to go with the twisted band sampler. And the fabric that I decided to take on was a 32 count linen antique white silver. It's got sparkles. I was so impressed. I was like, well, should I get sparkles or shouldn't I get sparkles? And I thought, you know what? No, I fancy sparkles. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get on with actually stitching on this fabric, but well, I've got to give some things a try. I can't sort of stay in my comfort zone all the time. I need to sort of venture out of it every now and then. So, but here's my fabric. It looks a bit boring, I know, but it has actually got lots and lots of sparkle, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it from there. But it just looks gorgeous. And that plus the silks. And it is like, it's not white. I've actually picked like, that is an off-white. It's sort of a creamy antique white. So, but very nice fabric. Sorry about that. Now I'm sort of thinking, you know, I've got to go on holiday, but I want to do these stitching, but I can't do these stitching ones because I'll need my frames for these. So I still need other projects to work on whilst I'm on holiday. So talking of holiday, the other thing, there was loads of you that was super helpful because I'm going on holiday. Obviously you can't take scissors on the plane and various other things, and everyone was saying, oh, they do these thread and yarn cutters. So I have a yarn cutter. Obviously it's all packaged, so I haven't actually tried it, but by the look of it, it looks pretty simple, and I don't think I'll hang it around my neck on the plane though. I think that might be a bit much even for me. But yeah, so I have actually purchased a special cutter so that I won't need scissors, it will not matter. And the other thing that I purchased, because there was a lot of discussion on FlossTube regarding thread heaven. So here's my little thread heaven. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to use this on all flosses, on silk flosses, on, you know, silky flosses. I mean, I don't know. Can you use these on any floss? Is it advisable to? Is it helpful to? I don't know, but everyone was talking about it. And I have got, one of my projects has actually got like a Krennic type thread. And a lot of people say that when you're dealing with sort of the metallic-y threads and the things that are a bit more tricky to work with, that the thread heaven will help. But I don't know whether it helps with all floss and whether you can do it and use it on all floss, and if there's any benefit to doing that. So again, if you know, please let me know so that I know. But yeah, so that's my little stash and my little haul that I've got coming. I have got some more coming from so-and-so, but it's not here yet. And what I decided to do as well is for my silk threads, so obviously these ones and the dinky dyes that are en route to me, I've actually got floss away bags. So all I need to do now is buy like a nice pretty box for them to go in, and then I can have these in my floss away bags, because I'm not prepared to put these on bobbins. No. These require a little bit more extra love and care on my part. So, but yes, I'm actually really quite impressed that I've sort of stepped up another gear now and I've purchased something other than standard DMC floss. But yeah, I think that's about it really. The only thing I can say is I'm ever so sorry if this video has been like super bright, but hence the reason why I'm in my kitchen. So the video that I took the first time was in my living room, which is lovely, apart from the fact that I have a big glass atrium ceiling and a whole wall of glass. So when you're trying to video, and it's great for stitching because I have perfect daylight, very bright. But when you're trying to do videos and such, like, it's like all the time it's sunny, it can be too bright. But then if the clouds come over, all of a sudden the light will disappear again. But today it's brilliant sunshine. We are having amazing sunshine here in the south of England. But it was too bright for the video. So hence I'm in the kitchen. And as you can see, the reflection is still sort of bouncing back at us. But this was the best that I could do today, unfortunately. So yeah, that's it. That's me done for today and for now. I will probably do another video when I've got a little bit more to tell you. Not sure if that will be before I go on holiday or after now. I might do one more video when I get my next haul that's due to turn up from so-and-so with my dinky dye silks. Or I might just actually sort of leave you all in suspense and involve it in my next video. So, but look, thanks ever so much. Happy stitching everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye.